Bianca and welcome to Talk Business, and a big hello as well to our viewers across the region receiving us through Sky Pacific. On the show this week, we join Air Pacific on its first commercial flight to Auckland, New Zealand, and find out what this means in terms of tourism, trade and commerce. That's coming up in the next half hour. Excitement, anticipation, enthusiasm, all wrapped up in a flurry of emotions. And why not? It's the first commercial flight of our very own Airbus that's 100% owned by our national carrier. The build-up to this event has been nothing short of extraordinary, and the staff at Air Pacific simply could not contain their excitement.
There is a lot of excitement on the ground. So many people are so happy about today. First inaugural flight. They're very proud to be actually here to serve the new inaugural flight of Air Pacific.
Air Pacific flies tens of thousands of Kiwi holidaymakers to Fiji every year. New Zealanders are, in fact, our second largest tourism source market.
As we switch to Fiji Airways here in June, what we wanted to do is give our guests and our passengers a sneak peek, if you will, of what's coming. So we'll wait until June before we roll out the new brand in its entirety with the new service, new product, and new uniforms and everything that goes with it. But today is really, the opportunity to see the new airplane.
And what better way to celebrate this event than with the iconic trademark symbolizing all that's Kiwi. The Nandi International Airport was abuzz. Tourists all scrambling to get a sneak peek of a flying billboard and to witness history in the making.
Ladies and gentlemen, just if we would, one more round of applause for the dancers from Mo.
All right, see if everybody's ready. You guys ready? Without further ado, welcome the new A330 to Fiji Airways. Here we go.
For the man steering the airline in a new direction, it's an achievement that warrants a grand celebration.
I'd like to welcome you this morning to Nandi International Airport and the first commercial flight of our brand new Airbus A330. It will be going into service today, flying obviously to Auckland and then back. And just a couple points of clarification. We will actually be Fiji Airways until June. So really think of this in terms of more of a sneak peek about the new product, the new airplanes, and what's coming soon for our passengers and guests who have the opportunity to fly on Air Pacific, soon to be Fiji Airways.
And the airline went all out to make the inaugural flight a whole lot more special for the passengers. In the usual friendly hospitality that the airline is renowned for, the extra feature, a beautiful friendship penny, and a shell chain.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Willa Banaka from Dave Flieger. I'm the CEO here at Air Pacific, soon to be Fiji Airways.
Now the aircraft is a work of art. Whether it's the stunning exterior that encompasses our rich Fijian heritage, or the muted interior tones inspired by our earthy beauty. There's also the mood lighting to set the tone and the state-of-the-art entertainment system to keep you amused during the flight.
When we designed the airplane interiors, we actually hired Singapore Airlines engineering company to help us design and spec the inside of the plane. So we've actually dialed it up a bit from what Singapore has on their planes. We've gone with the mood lighting and the overheads and the sidewalls, and we've got the white leather seats up in the front in the business class. And then here, these are lie flat seats on a slight incline, and they go all the way pretty much flat. And then you've got lighting and you've got power jacks in the seats to plug in your iPods or iPads. And then you've got tons of storage spaces here. For here, we can put anything you want, and then the big, nice 15-inch wide screen so that you can have fun watching the in-flight entertainment system.
Powered by Rolls-Royce Trent 700 engines, this is the first wide-bodied aircraft that emits 40% less carbon. It also has more cargo capacity than the Boeing 767. Not to mention that it's a whole lot more efficient than our current fleet. Whether it's the exterior or interior, the passengers are impressed.
I think it's a great asset to have these updated planes and having the entertainment for the kids, and it was lovely to have a cooked breakfast as well coming across. So a beautiful day, although it was sad to be left in Fiji.
I'm impressed. Yeah, because this flight, the last flight we came, they don't have TV on but I'm so impressed with even the service is so good.
Our national carrier is one of only 7 airlines to operate multiple international routes from New Zealand. And our aviation history with the Kiwis date back to 1974 when we first commenced flights to their country. So it's only fitting that our first commercial flight makes its journey to the land of the long white cloud. As we begin to descend at the Auckland airport, we spot the ground staff and former Fijians eagerly awaiting us, all in the hope to catch a glimpse of the new Fiji Airways logo, and a fitting welcome too by the Kiwis. As it ushers in our new aircraft in familiar territory. A large delegation comprising of our diplomats, the business community in Auckland, and other stakeholders gathered at the departure lounge to welcome the aircraft's first official flight. This was accompanied with a warm traditional Maori welcome, setting the tone for greater things to come.
mayan au konga waitupuna o Fiji.
Touched by the gesture, Fligger acknowledges the important link between Fiji and Kiwi land.
We are privileged and honored to be here today with you and with our new airplane from Fiji Airways. And we will be turning into Fiji Airways here in June. And we would like to thank you all for joining us here today and to recognize that we have been coming to Auckland for over 39 years. I understand we've been the second longest serving airport, or airline rather, to come to Auckland International Airport. So I'd like to thank you, and on behalf of our people at Air Pacific and our people back in Fiji and my family who I brought here with me today as well, Tanaka Vakalevu, and thank you again for the lovely ceremony.
As one of our top tourism source markets, even the Kiwis acknowledge our new fleet could open up new opportunities.
Our bonds and our partnership with this airline will continue for many years to come. We're very proud to support them, and we also hope it will last another 39 years. So welcome to you all.
And that's why going back to our roots makes perfect sense.
31 years ago, we were Fiji Airways, and we used that name from 1951 to 1971, and now we're returning to our Fijian roots. And if you look at the airplane and the livery, we had a lovely, lovely woman by the name of Makareta Matamosi, a Fijian Masi artist in Fiji, who designed the livery, the paint job of the new airplanes. And this livery will be on all of our airplanes. And so the reason actually for the delay until June for us to become Fiji Airways is by that point in time we'll have two A330s on the property, we'll have retrofitted two of our 737s, and then we'll have phased out one of our jumbo jets by that point in time. So we'll be well on our way to transforming the airline to its new livery, but also its new product and its new service delivery, which we think will make visitors and guests from New Zealand, as well as those traveling from Fiji to New Zealand, very happy with what they see on board the airplanes.
Which is why there is so much support on the move to return to our once iconic branding, Fiji Airways.
It's great to see innovation on a brand and a product and a service from one of the smaller airlines in the world, but an airline that's willing to innovate and keep improving their product. So I have no doubt that this will improve tourism between New Zealand and Fiji, so I'm very excited by it. If most people thought about Air Pacific, they may not know where its main base was, but I think Fiji Airways makes that very, very clear, and I think it'll just reinforce that connection between New Zealand and Fiji.
For those responsible for enhancing our trade and political relations with New Zealand, the move is also considered a major boost.
We can be very proud. Our people are all excited. The tapa design on the tail, it takes us back to our roots.
It can only get better from here. You know, a new aeroplane, a new Airbus. It just means that it just makes Fiji's presence in New Zealand. It just lifts up Fiji's presence in New Zealand. It just stamps our presence here in New Zealand. So Fiji Airways, Air Pacific. People sometimes ask us, where is this owned by the Pacific? But having Fiji Airways, we can say this is a Fijian-owned aeroplane, and the brand itself speaks loudly what it is and what it stands for.
It's a sense of pride for those here and abroad.
It's a dream come true for a lot of us. We put in a lot of effort into getting this airplane here, and now to actually operate it with passengers on board and knowing that this is the way that the company is going to make money from now onwards, and it's going to serve us for a few more years to go. At the end of the day, we're from Fiji, we're not from the Pacific. We are, but we're really not from there, and I've been overseas before. When I've been asked, who do you fly for? I fly for Air Pacific. So where's that? Where are you from, But this one, as soon as you say that we're from Fiji, they know exactly where we're from.
It hasn't been easy times for our national carrier. In fact, the last decade has been quite a turbulent affair for Air Pacific. Soaring fuel prices, stiff competition, and running an airline in the red hasn't helped the situation either. Taking over the reins to change all this was David Fligger. 3 years ago, he inherited a business that was in need of major restructuring. just to remain afloat. And since then, it's been this man's mission to bring about financial success.
What an amazing country it is. I mean, not only is it stunning in its beauty, but its people are absolutely fantastic. And to me, at the end of the day, the cornerstone, if you will, or the base of the pyramid is the people. And when you're in the service industry, whether you're in the resort, hotel industry, or the airline industry, you have to rely on great people to get things done. And the nice thing is, when I compared the opportunities that I was looking at in the U.S. to what was here and what drew me here to begin with 3 years ago, it was really those two attributes of the country and its people that got me here. And I like to say that the airline, Air Pacific, has great DNA. And then all we're going to do is make it better when we flip the switch and become Fiji Airways.
The financial turnaround has been largely credited to Fliger's management, and one of the most important decisions he has influenced has come to pass.
We're going to be able to buy airplanes, invest in the future, and at the end of the term of the loan, we'll actually own those assets, and that gives this airline an asset on the books, flexibility if they ever want to sell it and buy something new again. So think of it like buying a car versus leasing a car. You're always going to be better off if you buy it and then own it at the end of it, of your payments, as opposed to just leasing. So really a good opportunity.
So what does it really mean to own an aircraft?
This is the first time in our 61-year history that we've been able to purchase wide-body airplanes. And by virtue of that, while they're expensive airplanes, it's an investment for the future, because it will not only benefit the airline, but also the country as a whole in terms of lifting, if you will, tourism up and bringing more visitors to our shores.
Reverting to our once iconic brand of the 1950s, it's really a proud moment in our aviation history.
I mean, we had the unique opportunity to do, almost like a Top Gun flyby of the country when the plane first arrived, and it was really an amazing thing for us to all look out the window with the president and see the entire country out on the streets and the schoolyards, waving to their new airplane. And I really do view it as, for us at Air Pacific, soon to be Fiji Airways, it's us giving the country its airline back.
The arrival of this new aircraft has meant increased flight frequencies to our popular destinations: Sydney, Melbourne, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles. In the near future, tapping into emerging markets is on the cards.
I mean, right now we're looking at principally fleet replacement. So we're moving last year we moved the 767 out. This year it'll be the 747s, replace them with A330s. But I would absolutely expect the airline to grow and more routes to follow in the years ahead.
It's a bittersweet moment for the man who helped salvage our national airline. Next month, he will be leaving Fiji to lead a domestic airline in Florida in the United States.
Well, I may have been the architect, if you will. We've got a great team that made this happen. It wasn't any one person in the company that made all this happen. We've got a fantastic new management team. So think about it. We've built the ship. We've crewed it with one of the best airline leadership teams in the world, and we've set the course for the future. So from a perspective of what's the future look like, and in terms of the success of the airline, I like to say it's built for speed. It's built for success. And now in the next 5, 10, frankly 15 or 20 years, it will be able to grow, become Fiji Airways, and really be highly successful and do its job in supporting the nation.
Exciting times ahead for the airline. So is he leaving our national carrier on good footing?
Absolutely. It's in fantastic shape, and it's going to be great. And the nice thing is, in terms of people behind me, there's a ton of interest in my role by virtue of the fact of all the success that we, the entire team, have had at Air Pacific over the last 3 years.
Fliger is assisting in the process of selecting his successor, who many say will have big shoes to fill.
I think, again, it's not me, it's the team that's made this happen. And we've got a great team here at Air Pacific, and as we flip the switch and become Fiji Airways in June, it'll be even better.
As he prepares to embark on his new journey, there's this small message.
Vanakavakalevu to everyone in Fiji for the amazing opportunity for me and my family to come and visit Fiji, to be a part of Fiji, and to, I think, hopefully we've made a difference in terms of what everyone at the airline's been able to do over the last year. So Vanakavakalevu to all of you. Thank you very much.
And that's the show for this week. For questions or comments, do drop us an email, talkbusiness@fijitv.com.fj. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, have a productive week.
Come on there, Fiji.